Hi there. Sentiment analysis has undergone a remarkable transformation in the age of large language models. Now, these models are so sophisticated that they can understand complex text. They can understand the tonality of the text as well as they can also understand sarcasm. So this makes them perfectly suitable for sentiment analysis. So in this sentiment analysis application, you need to just send your text to a large language model, and then it is going to predict three kinds of sentiment: a positive sentiment, a neutral sentiment, and a negative sentiment. The business case I have for you today is analyzing customer reviews. So let's say we have an e-commerce company which would like to understand how the customers feel about their product. And they collect some different customer reviews, and we are going to use large language model to analyze the sentiment behind these customer reviews. So the data what we have is something like this. You have the product as well as you have the customer review behind this. And you can see that these reviews could be quite complex and they could be quite long, as well as they are all represented as unstructured text. You can do in sentiment analysis by sending all these review text to a large language model, and it is going to calculate the sentiment for each and every line. So for example, you could have a positive sentiment, negative sentiment, as well as a neutral sentiment calculated. In addition, it also gives the probability of the sentiment. Now this is very useful because if a sentiment is very negative, then it has got a very high probability. It means that it is seriously negative customer review, and the company could prioritize this to analyze it first before others. Now, you can also analyze the sentiment using a bar chart. So here you can see that most of the customer reviews are positive, followed by negative, and then followed by neutral sentiment. You can also do a very interesting analysis, which is shown here by scatter plot. So this scatter plot has got the probability of the sentiment on the x-axis, as well as it has got the number of tokens, which is the length of the review on the y-axis. And the color of the dots indicates the sentiment. It could be positive, neutral, or negative. So for example, if I take this sentiment, which is situated at the very top, which is a negative sentiment, and it is a very lengthy review, and it is also got a very high probability. So this is a very lengthy review with a very strong negative sentiment. So the customers has really given a bad review, and the company should analyze this review as top priority. Now, it is good to analyze all the sentiment, but it is also important to interpret the sentiment, like why a sentiment is positive or why the sentiment is negative. And you can do so using this kind of analysis. So here we have the positive sentiment, and here we have the list of words which are occurring in the positive sentiment. And you can see that what are the products could lead to a positive sentiment, such as coffee or sauce. And in addition, you can also analyze in the same way the negative reviews. So here you can see what are the top words which are occurring in the negative review, and you can also analyze the reason why the reviews are negative. In the same way, you can also do the same analyses for the neutral sentiments. Now let's also do a quick knowledge check just to see if you understand this process of sentiment analysis. So the first question coming your way is, why are large language models useful for sentiment analysis? And I'll give you 1 second to think about it. All right, 1 second is done. And the answer is because large language models are very powerful, that they can understand the context and the nuance which is hidden in customary use, which makes them perfectly suitable for sentiment analysis. Second question, what are the three common types of sentiment? And I'll give you 1 second to think about it. This should be very easy. All right, so the answer is positive, negative, or neutral. Third and last question, why is the probability of the predicted sentiment useful? And I'll give you 1 second to think about it. All right, so the answer is it indicates on how confident the model is when it is making its prediction. Now, if you want to try out the sentiment analyses without writing code, you can head over to my platform, Data, Jarvis, or AI, and you'll be able to do sentiment analyses in a very easy way.